tea. First, a word or two about myself. I pulled a muscle this morning in my middle back, and it's incredibly difficult for me to move. On top of that, if I should cough or anything else, and it seizes or brings me nearly to tears. So forgive me if something like that happens and you hear me go, okay? It just is what it is. Old Zen saying. Okay, well, thank you for coming and welcome to this Saturday morning episode of our Rohatsu Sesshin. I'm assuming that everyone here knows what Rohatsu is. Reverend Shuke-shin did an excellent job yesterday in her Dharma talk. This morning, I was asked to speak to something that we don't often think of in Zen, which is how do we take our awakened state, if we should have one, off the cushion and out into the world. In other words, how do we live Zen? Because Zen means meditation. So how do we live meditation in all of our life? Well, let me tell you a story. Once upon a time, there was a old monk. This monk lived a very busy life. He barely had time to sit zazen, so busy was he. He would go from one task to another, rarely taking a break. The old monk seemed driven. Now his students gradually faded away, as they could rarely arrange time to have dokusan with him. They felt abandoned at worst, neglected at best. The monk himself was surprised by this. From his point of view, his very behavior was the teaching. All his students needed to do, he thought, was observe, reflect, and learn. He recalled how Master Dogen was perplexed by the teaching of an old Tenzo, that's a cook, when he was in China. The old cook says, what are the teachings? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Was the Tenzo's response. Mystified, Master Dogen went on to practice with his teacher. Rather like a koan, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, seemed mundane and meaningless. Yet Dogen Zenji understood there was something to that old Tenzo, who seemed to be authentic in his teaching. Now, did the Tenzo have faith in the young monk standing in front of him? The busy Tenzo simply taught. It was up to the student to take the teaching and live it. Or not. This old monk says to himself, we have not come very far. Students still today were a bunch of lazy nitwits requiring direct teaching in order to get to the place where they thought they understood. But in that, they would have been mistaken, because there is no understood. There's just life as it is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All this is to point to something. What is enlightenment, and what does it look like? Master Dogen says, it's just the mind as it is in Shikantaza. It is practice realization. Others make it out to be some sort of eureka moment, like a flash. Yet we know there is a reason we say of some things, it's a flash in the pan. whoosh, and it's gone. Flesh is like that. But in Soto Zen, we practice shikantaza to live in that flash. Consider that. What would it mean to you? How would it be to live within a flash? To abide in the flash. Yesterday, I was listening to a young monk tell me about the magic of planting a seed. We plant a very little, tiny little seed. We water it, we nurture it, we care for it. And over time, we have a delicious watermelon. Now, excuse me. There's no pain. Oh, breathe. Now, we might think that the flesh would be arising from eating the watermelon. But we would be mistaken. In a life lived awake, there is no flash as a specific moment separated in time that is to be sought or attained. The flash is all of life. The seed, the earth, the water, care, and all of the universe within which this process lives. This is to say we need to reorient our understanding, I think, to enlightenment or to a flash, a moment. It's said that every moment contains the universe. All it is. With every breath, the entire universe is being breathed in, and the entire universe is being breathed out. And when you sit shikantaza, the practice is to just sit, wholeheartedly hitting the mark. What is that mark? What is that mark? It's just this, just this. But to be wholeheartedly present in it. Everything of you and the universe is in that moment. They say. So here we are sitting on a cushion, and we're abiding in that moment. And then a bell rings. We have to get up. And we leave the zendo and go out and get in our car, or a motorcycle, or a bicycle, and off we go. Most of the time, we leave our mind on that cushion. And now we're in a sort of automatic pilot. We drive. We're not even paying attention. We just drive. Or we pedal a bicycle, or whatever we do. We go to a restaurant and have lunch, or something. Where's your mind? Where is your mind? That's the question that we have. Always. Where's your mind? Or what's this? What's this? Now if we can keep that in our mind, keep that in our awareness, that in every step and every breath, it's a what's this? Where's our mind? Are we here? Not here? Whatever. It's just to live in an awakened state. Sometimes we call it mindfulness practice. That wouldn't be so either. But mindfulness practice is practice. It's not mindfulness. True mindfulness, you're just present. You're not saying, I'm holding this stick. I'm aware I'm holding the stick. I'm looking at my computer screen. I'm aware I'm looking at my computer screen. That would be mindfulness practice. But mindfulness itself is to just hold a stick, or just look at the screen, and be completely present in it, and awake to it. We might consider calling it stillness in motion. And as we get up off the cushion and we have this still, serene sort of mind, we take a step, just like with Kinhan. Take another step and another step. And in those steps, we're aware we're taking those steps. We're not talking to ourselves. Taking a step, I'm aware I'm taking a step. Then you're not in step. You're in the observation of the step. Practice of the observation of the step. But to just take a step, be awake in that step. That's stillness in motion. I hesitate to call that enlightenment, because to call it enlightenment makes it not enlightenment. We separate ourselves. I say, I'm enlightened. I'm creating duality. Just as the Buddha said in the Wisdom Sutra, the Dharma Sutra, it says, if you're aware that you're giving a gift, you're not giving a gift. You're not practicing generosity, not being generous. You're advertising something. And you're creating duality, so you're not a bodhisattva. To be a bodhisattva is to let the duality collapse, fall away. So I'm not just taking a step, thinking I'm taking a step. That creates a duality between me, my foot, and the floor. It's just take the step. Just sip the tea. No thinking, just doing. Yoda was right. Don't try, do. Just do. But don't be proud of it. Don't wear it like a chevron on your sleeve. Again, that would be inauthentic. The true practice is to just be the thing itself. Just be yourself as you walk along the way. Sometime, if you ever have time and you're here, in our Zendo we have the 10 auxiliary pictures all on the wall. Check those out, or you can Google them. 10 auxiliary pictures are a wonderful representation of our way. In this final auxiliary picture, the young boy who had seen a hint of the ox, and then seen the ox, and then mastered the ox, and mastered everything around him, was able to walk freely in the marketplace. He was the same person as he was in the beginning, but something was different. What was different? We have an old saying in Zen, before I began practice, mountains were mountains and rivers were rivers. Then I began practice and mountains were no longer mountains and rivers were no longer rivers. Where do you think that came from? We just chanted it. Form is emptiness. Form is no mountains, no rivers. Everything is in flux and change. Then after practicing for some time, mountains were once again mountains and rivers were once again rivers. Now the monk who says this is seeing the same mountain and the same river. He did in the beginning, in the middle, and the end. But something's changed. He had a sense that form became emptiness, or is emptiness, but he also had a sense emptiness is form. And when you know both, when you've internalized both sides of that equation, you can be free and easy in the marketplace. Which is to say that you can be there with an open, awakened mind. And at the same time know that there's this laptop, and this stick, and me, and you, and we're all relative, but we're relative in an absolute context, in absolute reality. Now there's a hint there about how to live an awakened life, how to live Zen. There's a certain pliability plasticity, if you will, to our vision, our sight, our mind, when we're in that place. We can see the whole, but yet we can also see the parts. We see the whole system and all of the subsystems, and all of those subsystems and subsystems beneath those, all at once. They say that you can't hold two thoughts in your head at the same time. They beg to differ. You most certainly can. And when you do, you are stillness in motion. Now, I would like to make sure that we understand, we're not talking about esoteric words, deep thinking. We're talking about just practice, just walking, just sitting, just standing, just eating, just going to the bathroom. All the things that we do, we just do them. Thank you. If anyone has a comment or question, I'd be happy to answer it. We'll address it. I don't know if I'll answer it. That hurts. What's that theater people used to say? The show must go on. Anybody have a question or a thought? Comment? No, totally understand now how to live an awakened life. How to take your awakened mind off the cushion and out into that universe. Thoroughly understand that, do you?
Okay, let's go.
What's that?
Let's go.
Let's go, yeah. That would be correct. See, if you say you understand it, you're wrong. Right? Because then you're in your head. What would Master Sesshin say in that situation?
Open mouth, already a mistake.
There you go. Open mouth, already a mistake. So instead, what do? It's a hint. I just gave you a hint. Right. If you can't open your mouth, what do? You act. You just do. Oh, yeah. It's terrible that Nike took that phrase.
Just do it.
Just do it. Yes. Any other questions or thoughts before I give up this throne?
I seem to spend most of my time recognizing that I'm not just doing.
Yes. What do you think that means?
That I'm practicing.
I don't know about that. I don't know. I think that when we become aware of what we're doing, then we're aware. Awareness is key. You may be practicing, but you're awake to the practice that you're practicing. This isn't rocket science, guys and gals. It's not anything difficult, really. As soon as you are able to set aside your thinking mind, let it fall away. What is it? They say, practice of Shikapastas. Dogen said in his Fukin Zazengi, you just let your body mind fall away. So when you throw it away, it means you put it in its proper perspective, in its proper place. And you get out of your thinking mind and into that mind that's the mind of presence. Finding mindfulness.
We seem to throw up very concrete obstacles to that process, though.
Yeah, what do you think they may be?
Well, what I hear from my students is that they're afraid to do this.
What will happen to them?
They won't be the same. I tell them, yay.
Well, James, I had a question for that too. Are they the same or different? Either way, 30 whacks. Because you can't say. You can't say. You know, those koans, as I understand it, the responses are not verbal. It's show me. Like my teacher's koan. Show me a piece of paper with only one side. And people went, my first thought, Mobius strip. Am I showing a piece of paper with only one? No. I'm showing a construct that I've constructed in my mind, what that is, what that means, a piece of paper with only one side. But that's not a piece of paper with only one side. It's still got two sides. Still, even if it's round and round, it's still got two sides. And that's your drawing, still is a drawing. Even though you're going up the steps, you can think you're going down the steps. You know what I mean? Show, but the key here is the word show me. Show me a piece of paper with only one side. How would you do that? Show me the sound of one hand. Show me, show me, show me. Our practice isn't to talk about it. Our practice is to do it. Make a great mistake when we talk about it, I think. And intellectualize about it. Philosophize about it. Well, that's fun. It's nothing more than mental masturbation. It's not practice. Anyone else? Don't be afraid, I won't whack you. And then I'll have this little stick on my knee. Nobody? Alright, well then, I see it's at 10:25. And I'm not sure what comes next. So I'm going to put my palms together and bow, more or less, and let you all off the hook. Thank you.
Thank you for your teaching.